Dear students, today the next topic is stress strain curve. So already Robert Hooke studied the relation between stress and strain, but the relation was proportional relation, and that was for small deformation only. So now for large deformation also we want to study the relation between stress and strain. For that, we have to perform an experiment. What is that experiment? For which material you want to study the relation between stress and strain, that material must be taken in the form of a wire. That wire upper end is fixed to the support, lower end is attached to a pan and also to a pointer, and beside the pointer a meter scale is kept here. So now let the length of the wire be 1 meter, that is 1000 millimeters. Now before performing the experiment, we have to draw a table to enter the readings. So here in the first column, stress is equal to force by cross sectional area. Next, strain, that is equal to increase in length by original length. Afterwards, slope, that is stress divided by strain. Now to draw the graph, just first two columns are enough, and you are taking stress on y-axis and strain on x-axis. So here in the denominator, stress is equal to force by area. In the denominator, area is there. See, the area of the given wire will be constant. So the stress increase will be nothing but force increase. And here let the cross sectional area be 1 millimeter square. Let A is equal to 1 mm square. So then what happens? Sigma is equal to F by 1. There is sigma is equal to F. And force, that is the deforming force. Deforming force is equal to restoring force. Both are equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. And here the deforming force is nothing but gravitational force, and that is mg, gravitational force. Now here for strain, in the denominator original length is there. The original length is taken as 1 meter. Again it is unit, therefore strain is directly equal to change in length. Here stress is directly equal to force and strain is directly equal to change in length. Okay. Now in the beginning there are no weight stones in the pan, that is the deforming force is 0. So no force is applied means its length will be 1 meter. So there is no elongation. Therefore the pointer should be adjusted such that it shows 0 reading. Now let us add the weights into the pan gradually at the steps of half kg. So first let us put half kg in this. Here Fg is equal to mass is half kg, and G value let us take this as 10, that is equal to 5 newtons. So initially you are applying a force of 5 newtons. Then because of the force the wire is stretched by some amount, and the extension is noted on the scale, and it was half millimeter. So you write here 0.5 mm. That similarly, now you add another half kg. So for 5 newtons, 0.5 mm. For 10 newtons, 1 mm. For 15 newtons, 1.5. For 20 newtons, 2.0. In this way, as you are increasing the stress, the strain is also getting increased. Now, let us take the ratio of stress and strain. Let us take the ratio of stress and strain. See here, the ratio is 10 into 10 to the power of 3. See, for every time, each time you are getting the same ratio. So what does it mean? The ratio between stress and strain is a constant, means stress is directly proportional to strain. That means the wire is obeying Hooke's law. So like this, up to certain amount of stress here, say up to a point on the curve, it is a straight line. Up to a point, it is a straight line. Let me write here a. Afterwards also we go on increasing the weights, but here this time we increase the weights by small amounts. So here 40 newtons, no? 41 newtons, 42, 43, 44, like this. Each time 1 newton force you are increasing. See why like that? Because here you increased by 5 newtons, because large stress produced only small strain. That's why you have taken large stress. But hereafter, after a point, to produce the same strain, that much force is not required. Just 1 newton is enough to cause the same strain change. That's why hereafter we increase the force in steps of 1 newtons, 41, 42, 43, 44, like that. And for each stress value you note the strain, and again you take the ratio, but this time the ratio is not a constant. It means stress is not directly proportional to strain. That's why you are not getting a straight line here. You got a curve here. So the reason is this. The ratio is not same, not constant. Okay, so after a point, our wire is not obeying Hooke's law. Then what about elasticity? Up to a it is elastic. Up to a it is elastic. But what after a, whether it is elastic or not? If you have the doubt, you can check immediately. How to check? See now, in the pan 45 newtons worth weight is there, and the corresponding reading on the scale is 4.59. That is 4.6 mm. 4.6 mm. Now you decrease 1 newton force. Then this reading moves from 9.8 to 8.5. So here you should see on the scale whether it is 8.5 or not. If it is 8.5, see, by unloading, by decreasing the load, your wire regained its previous reading. It means it is elastic. Once again you check. You remove 1 more newton force. You decrease 44 to 43. Here the scale reading must move from 8.5 to 7.2. Whether it is 7.2 or not, you check. If it is 7.2, your wire is elastic. Your wire is elastic. Up to A, it is a straight line. Therefore, this A point is called proportionality limit. Up to B, it is elastic. Therefore, B is called elastic limit or yield point. So, after B point, if you increase the load further, say 46, 47, 48, if you go on increasing the load, the force further, what happens? You can see the graph and understand. Here the graph, its slope was very high, 10, but from A to B the slope has decreased to 6. See, after B the slope is further decreased. So slope decreased means what? For small stress change, here you have large strain. So when the wire undergoes large strain, its cross-sectional area starts decreasing. The wire starts thinning. It starts thinning out. So now, you are increasing the load and strain is increasing at a faster rate, and you reach a maximum stress. And this point is called tensile point, and the corresponding stress is called ultimate tensile strength. See here, corresponding to yield point, the stress value is yield strength, and corresponding to tensile point, the stress value is ultimate tensile strength. Okay, now see, here our wire behavior can be classified into two types: elastic behavior, plastic behavior. See, from up to B our wire is elastic. Afterwards it is not elastic. So it is up to some stress value, it is partially elastic and partially plastic, and after certain value it is totally plastic. Its behavior is plastic. How can you say its behavior is plastic? Means if you remove the load, the pointer should come show the previous reading, but here it will not show the previous reading. You can check. You select a point between B and D, say at C, and from hereafter you go on decreasing the load. Your graph, your curve will not follow this path. See, while loading the graph followed this path, but from C, if you decrease the load, it will not follow this path. Instead, it follows this path and reaches your x-axis here. So here, if the curve touches your x-axis here, what does it mean? It is showing some strain, and stress is 0. So in the pan, no weight is there, but your wire is showing some strain. It means, so see, this elongation, certain amount of elongation, it may be it may be 3 mm or 4 mm or 5 mm. See, you have taken 1 meter wire initially, but now if you measure the length, it will be 1 meter 5 mm. Its length will be 5 mm extra. That is called permanent set. Okay. Afterwards, after D point, after D point the stress is getting decreased. Are you unloading here? No. You reached up to maximum stress value. When you reach the maximum stress value, the strain in the wire is accelerated. See, it is so accelerated, so thinning out, that even though no force is applied, it gets thinner and thinner, and it reaches a point where it undergoes fracture, and that is called breaking point. And here it behaves like a fluid. Even though it is a solid, it behaves like a fluid. and it elongates and ultimately it breaks down. Now the distance between D and E. This is important. If the distance between D and E is small, the material is brittle. If the distance between D and E is large, what does it mean? You can make the wire thinner and thinner and thinner. That is possible only for gold. Gold material can be made as thin as possible. It is ductile. So if the distance between D and E is more, we say that material is ductile. So in this way, you can determine the nature of the given material. One thing you should remember is the stress strain curve is not same for any metal. For copper it is one like, for brass it is another like, for steel wire it is another like. For different materials the stress strain curve is different. It is different. Now I will show you, is in our textbook, one stress strain curve is given here. See, in our body blood vessels are there. See, stress strain curve for the elastic tissue of aorta, the large tube carrying blood from the heart. So our blood vessels are elastic. They expand and contract. That is very necessary. If our blood vessels are not elastic, see, it will be a problem. We will be discussing this in the next lesson. Okay. Now you see here, you carefully observe the curve. There is no straight line part. If it is a straight line, just from here to here it can be. That's all. That is, stress and strain are not directly proportional. But here another thing you observe is, here strain is, for small amount of stress the strain is also very large, and the same type of curve comes for rubber also. So for tissue of the blood vessel aorta and rubber, this is the stress strain curve. Our next topic is elastic moduli. By Hooke's law, stress is directly proportional to strain for small deformation. Therefore, stress is equal to K into strain. By Hooke's law, stress directly proportional to strain for small deformation. Therefore, stress is equal to constant of proportionality into strain, or stress by strain is equal to K. That is a constant, and that constant is called as modulus of elasticity. But now here stress is 3 types, strain is 3 types, so that we will have elastic moduli also 3 types. See, first, what type of stress we discussed? Longitudinal stress. So longitudinal stress by longitudinal strain, that is a modulus of elasticity, and that is called as Young's modulus. That is called as Young's modulus. See, Young's modulus is shown by Y, and longitudinal stress means force by area. Longitudinal strain means change in length by original length. So you can write F by A into L by delta L. See here, it's SI unit, suppose you want. Delta L by L strain, it has no unit. It means F by A means stress. Stress units are also units for Young's modulus, and for stress the units are Newton by meter square. For Young's modulus also Newton per meter square. Okay, now second type of stress, that was shear stress. shear stress divided by shear strain. This is another elastic modulus, and that is called as rigidity modulus. Rigidity modulus or shear modulus or shear modulus. See, this shear modulus is represented by G, capital G. So here shear stress is delta x by L, and now this shear modulus is shear stress. Stress means whatever stress it is force by area, and shear strain means delta x by L. So F by A into L by delta x. Again, this is the denominator is dimensionless, strain is dimensionless, therefore this also has Newton by meter square. So this is over. Next, another type of stress is what? Third type of stress is volume stress by volume strain. Volume stress divided by volume strain. That is called bulk modulus. That is called bulk modulus. And the bulk modulus is represented by K. Volume stress means force by area, and volume strain is change in volume by original volume. And sometimes instead of force by area, you write pressure by delta V by V. So in this way we have three types of elastic moduli. Now let us do some problems. Problem 1, let us see. A copper wire of 1 mm diameter. So diameter is given. Is stretched by applying a force of 10 newtons. Force is given. Find the stress in the wire. Stress is asked. Stress is asked. See, now stress is equal to force by area. Stress is equal to force by area. So the wire is in the shape of cylinder. Its cross section is a circle. So the stress is equal to F by A. F is given. Now you want cross sectional area. So it is a circle. Therefore A is equal to pi r square. So 3.14 into R value. See here, its D is 1 mm. So R is equal to D by 2, 1 by 2 mm, that is 0.5 into milli means 10 power minus 3 meter. So here 0.5 into 10 power minus 3 square. Now stress. So stress is equal to force by area. Force is 10 newtons and area is 3.14 into 0.5 into 10 power minus 3 whole square, so that you get the value 1.273 into 10 power 7 Newton per meter square. Now let us look at the second problem. A tungsten wire of length, see it is original length, initial length 20 centimeter, is stretched by 0.1 centimeter. So this is the extension, that is delta L, stretched by 0.1 centimeter. Find the strain on the wire. So strain is asked. Strain means what? Change in length by original length. So this is asked. So change in length is 0.1 centimeter increase in length is 0.1 centimeter, original length is 20 centimeters. Centimeter gets cancelled. So here 1 by 200, that is 0.005. Now let us look at the third problem. If an iron wire is stretched by 1%, see, stretched by 1%, this is means strain is given in percent, delta L by L into 100, that is given 1%. Okay. Now what is the strain on the wire? Strain is asked. So here 1 only, 1%. Now delta L by L is equal to, take this 100, that's it, 1 by 100, that is 0.01. So strain is this much. Now let us look at the solved example 10.1. A structural steel rod has a radius of 10 mm. Radius is given 10 mm. That is 10 into 10 to the power of minus 3 meter. And length is given 1.0 meter. And force is given, F is equal to 100 kilonewtons. That means 100 into kilo means 10 power 3. For stretches it along its length, calculates. Stretches it along its length means Young's modulus we get. Okay, calculate first. Yes, stress. First stress. Stress means force by area. Stress means force by area. So area not there. See, this is a rod. This rod is in the cylindrical shape. It is in the cylindrical shape. Its cross section is a circle. Therefore, area of cross section is pi r square. 3.14 into radius 10 into 10 power minus 3 whole square. Now substituting the values, we have here 100 into 10 power 3 and area this much, 3.14 into 10 into 10 power minus 3 whole square. So we get, in the next bit elongation is asked, that is delta L is how much, that is asked. But in which this delta L comes? It comes in strain. See, strain is equal to delta L by L. L is known. If strain is known, you can find elongation. Here Young's modulus is given. See how Young's modulus is defined. See, Young's modulus. See, it is a constant. It is a ratio between longitudinal stress by longitudinal strain. See here, Y is equal to longitudinal stress by longitudinal strain. And the value is given here. What is the Young's modulus? 2.0 into 10 power 11. Okay. Now, stress you know already here, you have calculated. So, from this, strain is equal to stress by Y. Let me write like this. Y is equal to stress by strain, or strain is equal to stress by Y. Stress value 3.18 into 10 power 8 and Y value 2.0 into 10 power 11. Here we get this much value, no? So this strain value, let us substitute here. 1.59 into 10 power minus 3 is equal to delta L by L value 1 meter. So delta L is nothing but 1.59 into 10 to the power of minus 3 meters. Or see here, 10 power minus 3 means milli. So 1.59 millimeter. Its elongation is this much. And next, what is asked? Strain on the rod. Strain already here you calculated. So in this way we have calculated everything.